Bob Ferguson promises he's going to add more money to the budget to hire police officers. Well, I wish we could get back some of the millions of dollars he spent prosecuting police officers. Let's talk about it in our segment, Unbelievable. Boop. All right, so we all know that Bob Ferguson is, of course, the public safety candidate. He has suggested as much in his first political ad that he aired on the public safety issue. Here it is.
50th, dead last. Washington has the lowest number of law enforcement officers per capita of any state. That's unacceptable. As governor, I'll fix it. Public safety is my top priority. I'll hire more police and first responders, create a statewide response unit to tackle the fentanyl crisis, and invest the $1 billion I won from drug companies to increase treatment. Washingtonians must feel safe and be safe for our state to thrive.
Man, I agree. What a good guy. I'm so glad that we have a candidate in the race for governor who understands that public safety is a top priority and that we absolutely have to hire more police officers. He also brought it up, by the way, at the debate last week against Dave Reichert.
The Washington state has per capita the lowest number of law enforcement officers of any state in the country. My criminal justice plan details how we're going to change that. In my first budget as governor, we're going to put together a budget that invests $100 million. So local jurisdictions, your cities, your counties, the folks who hire most of the police officers across our state can use those dollars for increased salaries, for signing bonuses. That gets first responders on the streets. That helps solve crimes and lets the prosecutors in my team, in my office, do the work to send those folks away.
Awesome. And it's so obvious. I mean, Bob Ferguson has a long track record of absolutely supporting the police. And Dave Reichert, what is he, a former sheriff or something? I don't think so. No track record of supporting law enforcement. Bob Ferguson tweeted after the debate that he'd create this $100 million grant program. He said, Dave Reichert, he's trying to distract you from the fact that he opposes pay raises for police officers. He said supporting law enforcement means investing in law enforcement. What a great guy. What a great guy. And of course, as I said, he has a long track record of sticking up for police officers. Like, just as an example, when the Seattle police or the city of Seattle was saying it wanted to defund the police department and voted to defund the police department, Bob Ferguson came out with a very strong statement. Oh, wait a second. I'm all confused. He didn't have it. Oh, no, but it was CHOP. When CHOP happened and the rioters took over the police precinct, that was when he came out with a really, really strong statement. That wasn't it either? No, I swear. Oh, sorry. I knew what it was. When the police cars were burning in downtown Seattle during the riot in the summer of 2020, and like when police rifles were getting stolen, that's when he had that really strong statement about his support for law enforcement. Yeah, no, of course, he's full of shit. He's absolutely, swear jar fine, full of shit. He's claiming to be the public safety candidate, has absolutely no track record of supporting law enforcement whatsoever. He's just saying what he thinks he needs to say to be elected governor. He's saying, I'm going to spend all of this money, your money, hiring new police officers, but that man has spent more money trying to prosecute police officers than he's ever spent or advocated for spending on law enforcement. So the News Tribune has this analysis. I'm so glad they did this. I'm a little hard on the mainstream news. Very grateful for the News Tribune and Peter Talbot for putting this together. The headline, how much did AG Ferguson pay to prosecute the Manny Ellis case? Here's what records show. So, of course, Attorney General Bob Ferguson politically prosecuted 3 police officers for murder, unsuccessfully so. Was not the first time. Remember, he also unsuccessfully prosecuted Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer in a case and didn't win it, and then went on, did this. It was at a time where he thought, well, it'll be really good for my political resume to put police officers in prison for murder, even though they've been cleared in other investigations, but my office will do a better job. Well, he spent more than $4 million failing It says more than $4 million was spent on legal services, expert witnesses, consultants, a private investigator, and trial expenses from February 2021 through December last year, according to invoices and receipts released to the News Tribune through a public records request. In the records released to the News Tribune, there were 36 invoices from 2 law firms, totaling $3,367,060.61. First of all, isn't he a law firm? Isn't the Attorney General's office a law firm? Why are you paying more than $3 million to outside law firms when you are yourself a law firm and you've doubled the number of attorneys on your staff since you took office 12 years ago from 400 to 800? The article says also there were 32 invoices from expert witnesses, a private investigator, consultants. Their work amounted to $686,000. That includes the expertise of a jury consultant known for his work on the O.J. Simpson murder case. That's weird. Why would weren't they trying to prosecute this case, not lose it? Well, in the Ellis case, he helped conduct a mock trial and traveled to Tacoma from California for jury selection. That brings outside costs to the Attorney General's office in the Ellis case to more than $4 million. It doesn't even factor in how much the Attorney General paid his own employees for time spent working on the case. That includes Assistant Attorney Generals Kent Liu and Lori Nikovla, who helped lead the prosecutor's trial team with Special Prosecutor Patty Eakes, who was hired as a contractor. Again, you have hundreds of attorneys on staff. You shouldn't have brought the case in the first place. But hell, if you're going to bring it as the Attorney General, at least handle it in-house. Spends more than $4 million on this. Oh, and there were some miscellaneous charges in there as well to put police officers in prison for murder, 202 coffees, and over $47,000 in hotel expenses. It says, though daily caps on meal expenses mean that the Attorney General's office didn't pay for every entree or beverage, receipts show that contractors purchased 94 Americanos. God, Tacoma News Tribune is really nailing it.
They are.
Really specific. Thank you. I genuinely mean it, Peter Talbot, for the level of specificity. I'm enjoying it immensely. 94 Americanos, 81 lattes, 21 mochas, and 6 drip coffees. The meal caps saved the state $1,699. Also retained were 2 consulting agencies, Decision Analysis Trial Consultants and Prolumina, which together cost about $250,000. And, by the way, the costs might grow. In April, Timothy Rankine, one of the officers who was acquitted by a jury of his peers, and his wife filed claims seeking $47 million in damages from Tacoma and state officials, alleging he was falsely accused of racially biased policing. The Ellis family's lawsuit against Tacoma and the officers identified as being involved in Ellis's death is ongoing in U.S. District Court. And I hope that they get a payday over all of this, because they had the mayor of Tacoma who came out long before they had their day in court, labeled them, vilified them, called for them to lose their jobs. They have aspects of this claim that are against Attorney General Bob Ferguson for comments he made for what they felt like was politically motivated prosecution that costs us more than $4 million without even factoring in the cost of the staff attorneys at the Attorney General's office. Yeah. Bob Ferguson, we could have hired a lot of new police officers with $4 million. So save it. Save it.